Okay. Okay. Who's sliding? What you sliding around over there, man? You making a lot of noise, whatever that is you rubbing against you. Is that your microphone rubbing on your shirt, Coop? Something?
Yeah, probably. Let me get that
Yeah.
up. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah. Sound like you live in sandpaper. What it do, snackers and snackettes? It's the Sandpaper Review Show, aka Cloak and Dagger reviews, discussion. Here with the loading snacks, dudes. It's your boy Empty Shells, Gage. Got Big Coop in the building,
Yo,
got
yo.
Sin in the building,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
it's time to discuss the season finale for Cloak and Dagger. 10 episodes down.
Mm-hmm.
A lot happened in this
A
episode.
lot.
Let's get right to it. Coop,
All right.
where are we, bro? What's happening?
It was a lot that happened in the season finale. It felt rushed a little bit, and I'll go back to what you said, like in the beginning, when we started doing the review, like they got us picking things up from where they were, and with that being said, well, some of the later episodes, seem like they're moving fast, and some of the plot that was going on, but in this last episode, it just felt like super rushed, you know. Um, and a lot happened within that time, and a lot of unanswered questions. But that's usually how season finales are. So,
Okay.
first thing I want to get into is the
Wait.
beginning of the.
Before you do that,
Uh,
look, Sin, do you feel the same way? Do you feel like this episode was rushed?
Do I feel like this episode was rushed? No, I don't feel like it was rushed.
Okay.
I did like the fact that we finally got to see them doing some teamwork, like attacking dudes and fighting. Glad we finally got to see a little bit of that.
Right. I mean, I just wanted to kind of get an idea. I mean, I feel like the season as a whole was rushed, but I don't really want to jump too deep into talking about the season. I really just want to focus on the episode. But
No,
I just wanted to know if it felt like it was.
No, I personally don't feel like the last episode was rushed.
Okay. I don't think I felt that way either. I mean, again, I think I feel as a whole it was. So I stopped you there, Coop, because I want you to as you go into it, I want you to expand on that a little bit. For like why you feel like the episode itself was rushed.
well, there was just a lot of things that happened so quickly. Through and it happened like later throughout the episode, but just to see where it picked up last time and where Tandy was, about to save her mother, and they run into the assassin, the same one that was, the water girl, and then it just seemed like the whole town got turned to the terrors really quickly, with him bum rushing the police station and everything that they were pretty much doing in the warehouse and everything. I don't know. It just seemed like really, really fast to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hear you. I don't agree, but I hear you. So let's talk about it then.
Okay.
Let's get into it.
And it's fine. There are some things in this episode that I did not agree with, and maybe my feelings of this episode being rushed, is with that. But I don't know. I say let's just start from the beginning. Let's start from the beginning of the episode and
get your microphone. You back in that sandpaper.
Yeah, so can you guys? I'm sorry. Yeah, my bad. Just start from the beginning of the episode where Tandy ended up saving her mother, and I'm sorry, I just drew a blank.
All right. All right.
Sorry.
Well, yeah. All right. So yeah, Tandy saves her mother. So at the end of the last episode, the way it ended, probably the biggest cliffhanger of the entire season.
Agreed.
You know, is Tandy coming home to talk to her mother, and seems like she's in really good spirits. Like, hey, you know what? Let me try to start fresh and kind of go back and talk. And I really think that was Tyrone's words resonating with her about him asking her, did you talk to your mother about what we saw about the way who your father was and the way he treated her, you know, whatever? Did you even talk to her about it to find out? And I think that was kind of where she wanted to go, and it just got interrupted by, as you call her, the water girl, the water girl contract killer, the Roxanne assassin herself.
Right.
You know, shows up. She's in the house, and she's got Tandy's mother hostage, and Tandy hides around the corner. You know, the assassin is counting down, and Tandy's hands start to glow. And I'll be honest with you, I was wholeheartedly expecting Tandy to come around that corner like a ninja and chuck a couple daggers right in the slim face, and for it to be over right there, and her mother be like, "What was that?" and her have to explain it. I certainly wasn't expecting to go the way it did. So I will say at the beginning of this episode, I was a little bit disappointed with how it went, but there was something about Tandy being like real bold and real, like, just kind of walking. I don't know if it was like, I don't know if I want to call it fearlessness or death wish of her own. Maybe it was some of her, like, I know what I can do, so I'm really not scared of you in this gun, actually, in some way. But like her walking up to this woman who's got her mother at gunpoint and just kind of talking her down, like, yeah, so I bet you don't even know what's really going on. I bet you have no idea, because, you know, my man is a need to know basis kind of guy. You don't need to know. And here I am, and she's telling her, like, back off. Like, you need to back up before I pull this trigger. You know, I'm not scared to do it. I'll do what I got to do. And she's like, well, why? I mean, I'm unarmed. When we clearly know she's not really unarmed.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't know if she was just trying to close the gap. And the original plan was, I'm going to get real close and I'm going to stick a light dagger in this girl's face. I'm about to give her this jailhouse. You know, white light is the new black, orange is the new black type get down. You know, but they end up having, you know, her mother instinctively, you know, whether for saving her own life or protecting her daughter or whatever, you know, jumps in, and they kind of have like a slight tag team moment, you know what I mean, kind of thing, which I thought was kind of cool. I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little upset that she got away. Like, I didn't like that at all. Like, I really kind of wanted her to die on the floor there, but you know, I'm gonna be real, I just kind of what I wanted. But yeah, I mean, it was kind to see that, and maybe for Tandy's mother to get a quick glimpse into what it is she might be capable of doing. What do you think?
I enjoyed it. Like, I agree with you. Like, I thought wholeheartedly she was gonna come around that corner slinging daggers, and it was gonna be a tuck and roll, and the action was about to get popping. You know what I mean? But I wasn't disappointed how it turned out. You know what I mean? Like you said, like the boldness, whatever, talking to her. She's closing the gap. I'm like, ooh, she about to shake her when she get close. Mom throws the okie doke in and all that kind of stuff. I thought she was going to kind of explain it to her right then, like show her mother for a second, like, hey, yeah, I can do this. I'll explain it to you later, maybe, yada, yada, yada. But, they didn't really get into that, So, no, I enjoyed that little moment. On the heels of them starting those flashbacks of explaining like the two people, every so often how they would get into those and explain like, what each set of dolls represented, who those people were for those times and what they stopped from happening to the city. So yeah, I enjoyed the opening of it. I did. Nice.
Were you concerned?
What?
Were you concerned at all about how they were going to, about anybody dying? Like in my head, because what you were just talking about, kind of piggybacking off of the explanation from Avita's aunt of, again, each doll, what they represent, how it went down, and how in every one of those pairings, this divine pairing, somebody had to die, right? It had to be some version of self-sacrifice or whatever. I mean, clearly the show is called Cloak and Dagger. Cloak nor Dagger could die. Like that's just not how the show can work, right? So for me, it was like, man, I wonder if somehow something's twisted in here, and like maybe Evita's gonna die and she doesn't make it, or something like that. Where either you worried about where that was gonna go or how it was gonna work out.
Not really. No. It was interesting to see the background stories of the divine pairing and how she was putting it together to making them be that pairing throughout history. But I never had a concern of anything happening to Cloak or Dagger.
Right, I wasn't expecting that. I just mean, did you think somebody else was going to end up? Not that somebody else doesn't. I'm just
no, not really. I was more concerned about Vita and her. I guess her power. I don't know if she has powers, but last episode, she was inside. Hope was inside her. I'm sorry, not Hope. Tandy was inside her hopes. Tandy was inside her hopes, and she kind of just like pushed herself out of it. Maybe we'll get an explanation for that next season. But yeah, I was more curious. I thought they were going to explain that more in this episode. You said her name, was just made me bring that up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You neither, huh, Sam?
No, not at all. Like you said, it's season 1. It's called Cloak and Dagger. Neither one of y'all are dying. You know what I mean? Like this season, right. I was more trying to figure out like how they were going to get out of the not dying part. You know what I'm saying? Tied to the story. Like that's more so like where my brain was focused. Like, okay, I know you're not going to die, but how y'all going to escape that? You know what I mean? How y'all going to get out of that type of deal? That's more so like where my head was at going into the last episode.
Yeah.
Okay. So I agree with that. And I know it's jumping the gun a little bit. Were you satisfied with the answer you got as to why neither one of them ended up having to die? Or does this mean that New Orleans is still in a state of chaos, and so neither of them have died yet because it's not over yet, right? I mean, I know it's the end of this season, right. But like in my head, I'll be honest with you. Like for me, it was like, okay, that doesn't really. I wasn't satisfied with like why the two of them are able to break this cycle, right? Of the way it always has to be. That's just the way that it works. I don't feel like I got a great explanation or reasoning for why it didn't happen. The only thing I can come up with is that it's not over, and therefore they haven't gotten New Orleans out of this state of chaos.
Like either that wasn't the big thing that was going to kill one of them, or the cycle just keeps continuing. They got past this one, but something else is going to come, and if they get past that, then something else is going to come until one of them die. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it could be something like that going forward.
Right.
Yeah. I agree. I would say that it's probably a situation where they're just a divine pairing for a little bit longer than than the other ones in history. It doesn't necessarily say that they have to die within a certain event that's happening or a certain I guess terror that New Orleans is going through. So it could still be that's gonna be something that could actually end the series if they ended up doing that. So
I mean, that's true.
Yeah,
that's definitely true. Okay, so let's talk about let's jump into Tyrone and his situation with him trying to get away during Mardi Gras. Perfect time for something like this to happen, right?
Yeah.
And him, having to try to duck the boys at 5-0. Tracking him down again at the end of the last episode. It was, the police were showing up at his house, and his mom telling him to run. And he's been framed for Fuchs's murder. So he's on the run, and personally, I feel pretty confident about his ability to not get caught because my man can teleport.
Right.
Straight up.
So I'm gonna be real. I mean, I know he's young and his powers are new, but I wouldn't have kept teleporting in the same area. Like the police are narrowing in on you. You're at Mardi Gras as a party. Like I feel like
fast.
You know what I'm saying? I
would not have stayed on Bourbon Street. I'm sorry. You just can't do that.
Not even a little bit. Like it just
maybe
you know.
So maybe he could control the distance at the time, and maybe he was just trying to see, like, you know, I don't know.
I'll chalk it up to just being inexperienced with it, being young, but there's no way in hell I'd have been on the streets.
Yeah. Sounds like,
hey, listen.
Sounds like give me to another state. Just, you know.
Yeah, like at the same time, when okay, so he's trying to get away from the police, right? Mardi Gras is happening, there's people everywhere, they're partying, but the police are like closing in, and like I'm not positive if he could hear like police radio clearly, like we're getting to hear it as the audience viewing or whatever, right? But like he you know, every time somebody walks in front of him, he'll teleport, right? And then the police are kind of like, wait, what? Wait, what? Like I just had him, right? And I feel like some could have got away in that crowd, but
very true.
He you know, when he does kind of get caught up and starts to run, and it looks like he's not going to have anywhere to go, and O'Reilly pulls up in front of him, I felt that quick state of relief, like, oh, all right, yeah, that's, you know, jump in the whip, let's see what's going to happen. Right. And when they get caught, she's like, what you doing? And he's like, nah, it's too many people. No, sir. No, sir.
Dog, you know how fast I turned around. Hey, y'all want to see a magic trick?
Right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's Mardi Gras. Anything's possible. You know, just
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm shouting. I'm in the air. Everybody, Mardi Gras time. Y'all want to see it? Boom, I'm out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody like, oh, this is the best Mardi Gras ever. Oh, we're making floats to that dude next year. Like, yeah. Like
on a rooftop somewhere so fast.
Okay. So they end up getting wrapped up. They end up in the police station.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I want to bring this up for a second. I wore my ceremonial, you know what I'm saying, loading snacks cloak today. You know what I'm saying? I got my loading snacks cloak on. So they end up clearly the whole entire police station is in on this. The whole station.
Hey, look, they about as corrupt as Gotham out there, joint. That's all I'm saying.
Right, bro. Listen to me. I'm thinking to myself, was Fuchs the only dude who's not in on this?
That was good, yeah.
Besides her, like,
and that made me think about the last episode when she was getting beat up, you know, in that police bar, and nobody was helping her, and I was like, yeah. So yeah, the whole force is just.
Can we officially talk about the best mollywops of the whole season? Where like I'm gonna hold you by your ankle and punch your face. Mollywops. She ate them joints like a champ though. But yeah, so they get wrapped up, okay, and they lock them in a cage. She asks, you know, she says, book us or what? You know, and my man's like, what? Cause no. So clearly there's a plan here. And you know, I do like the discussion between Tyrone and O'Reilly that they had when they're captive, where you know she's saying like you need to try to get out of here, and them kind of showing like he doesn't really have control or the ability to use his powers without a cloak, like that he needs something, right? Whether or not he needs that exact cloak or it has to be something of his brother, whatever.
Yeah, I think it's just like something mental with him. Like they may like get into that in later seasons, you know what I mean? But like it's Cloak and Dagger, so he obviously needs a hood of some point, you know what I'm saying, to tie it all in. But I think it's just a mental thing with him why he can't do it without the cloak. Or why he struggles to do it.
I'll be honest. I mean, I know Cloak and Dagger from the comic books, but I'm not super familiar. I don't know that I've ever seen that he can teleport without a cloak, or that he ever does or has in the comic books. So, you know, maybe there's some kind of a tie. What it is, I don't know. But having that conversation and kind of getting a real sense of like where she is on the whole thing, and like her explaining to him, like, yeah, they got us back here because something else is getting ready to go down. Like it's just the most unofficial, you know. And then the conversation they have with the officer who is stuck guarding them, who clearly isn't on everything, but as Tyrone attempts to appeal to his conscience, and you know, just as he's getting ready to let him go, there's that knock on the door.
Yeah.
Comes in, and now it's okay. Well, Connors is here. We about to do this. You know, and the look on their faces of, man, like, you know, telling them like this is what it's gonna be. We gonna take a ride. He's gonna get free and kill you, and then we gonna kill him. And then with you, ooh, girl, we gonna celebrate you with the best parties and parades.
We're gonna meet up at the pub, throw some shots back for you, have a toast, the whole 9 yards. Yep.
Yeah, it's dirty and trifling out there. You know, I mean, seeing that and then going from there as they begin to move them and not knowing what the next state is gonna be, but having Tandy have met up with Mina and start to kind of really figure out and diagnose what's going on in the city, and them being in this race to okay, we have these locations we have to get to try to stop this, to try to and you know, they tell you like, you know, I got these things, they're everywhere. They're by schools, they're by police stations. They run in, you know, they run in and talk to Scarborough. They get in the Roxxon and talk to him, catch him in the elevator. And for real, my man jumped in the elevator like, so what? Like, like let y'all in here. You know what I mean? I know my look on my man's face like, I mean, you're supposed to be dead, but
whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, but he just kind of jumped on there. And you know, him actually opening up and giving them that explanation after you see him trying to destroy all the evidence. My man is drilling through hard drives and everything, trying to cover his tracks because clearly it's all going badly, including for him. And he doesn't want himself or Roxxon to be able to be tied to what's going on. But him also name dropping the Starks and the Rands was kind of cool. But basically making that statement of like, look, there are people out here who can do things that other people can't do, and I want a piece of that. And that's what's working for them. I wanted to work for me. So you know, he's clearly looking for something to give himself that kind of power. And when she, you know, touches him and actually talks to him inside of his own hopes, and then I want to be a god. Like I'm not trying to play God. I want to be a god. I thought it was pretty dope that she was like, oh yeah, just walk through that door right there. And as soon as I saw the door, I was like, oh, how did she put my man back into Ivan Hess's nightmare?
You got me right now.
The rig with the terrors. So it's not, her abilities are not just to see your hopes or to steal your hopes, but apparently she can implant the thoughts or the hopes in your head. She basically left him in the same coma that Ivan Hess was in.
Right.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. It's dope that's an ability, but it was at the same time I was thinking like damn, like she had a lot of time to, like, you know, there's a lot of stuff that we just don't know about, and you know, she picked up pretty fast on her powers, you know.
Oh yeah.
And I'm thinking that's a lot of I'm sorry, my bad. I think a lot of that is from spending the time in Ivan Hess's conscience too. She might have learned some things that we didn't know about, you know, instead of just like dagger skills. So
right. Yeah. The amount of time that she was in his head in reality was like 7 or 8 minutes, but for her, it was much, much longer than that. And you know, he pops back in and she's got these skills that she didn't have before.
Right.
So yeah, you're right. That they kind of allowed things to fast forward a little bit. And it is a pretty good explanation of her getting a better grasp on her abilities And I'd like to see going into the second season them explore that a bit more with Tyrone, given his ability to absorb people into himself now. So, so on that note, you didn't exactly how they're going to get out of that situation. I didn't know if it was going to be that police officer that maybe did something to try to help them get away. But the fact that it ended up being that these terrorists break into the police office and start the police precinct and start attacking police officers, and everybody like, man, what is that? And then, of course, if you touch one, you got it. It's cooties. It's the worst cooties to hit the city of New Orleans ever. You know, dead or alive, man. If you touch it, you got it. And so that those moments and him managing to get his cloak back, I was a little disappointed that he left her there. I wish, you know, if he had mastery of his abilities, I feel like he would have known, I can just take you with me. You know what I mean? Like, we know from the comics and stuff like that that's the thing he could do, and that's kind of what I was expecting. But we didn't get that, and so luckily though, the way it turned out, as you know, Mina and Tandy are trying to get away from the terrors, and they run into this warehouse, and Mina, of course, ends up getting touched. Now she's a terror. She's chasing Tandy, and Tandy's like, man, I don't want to have to hurt you, but I will. And he shows up right on time with the taser in his hand, and takes her down. Clearly, she didn't get killed. So the way that everything ended, if they were able to stop the terrors and if it cured the people who are affected by the terrors, then maybe, just maybe, Mina is still alive, right? And everything's okay because all he did was taser, right?
Yeah, because they were definitely killing everybody else.
They tried it first. They tried it first with the tasers. After a minute, it was like, y'all just don't care no more. Y'all just bodying everybody.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. It was the moment. I didn't know if, like, you know, Tandy was just cutting them and, you know, maybe, like, you know, knocking them out a little bit. But when I saw Detective O'Reilly with the 50 caliber, I was like, oh no, they killing people.
Oh yeah. She up like Sin in a video game on a rooftop, picking cats off from a distance. Like, yeah, I got you. Speaking of that,
yeah, that was a moment in itself.
She does that, and then again, man, I'm really starting to not like this dude.
You're a cockroach.
And no doubt. And of course, she gets into now. Listen, I don't know why she didn't have some other type of gun or weapon besides the, like, if you're in the police vault, you got all the tasers. Now, you know what though? Now that I'm thinking about it, she wasn't killing them. Remember, right before he teleported out, she said, "I'll be good as soon as I find these bullets." Whatever the name of them was like suppressive bullets. She wasn't actually getting live ammunition. She was getting like the rubber bullets or whatever.
I think
she wasn't actually killing them. Yeah, mercy bullets or something like that. Yeah, so she wasn't actually killing them. She was shooting them with ammo that wasn't gonna kill him. So yeah, maybe she didn't have anything she could use. I mean, she could have took him down, you know what I mean? But he ends up getting her in a position, and she's in a vulnerable position, and my man takes a shot, and the pipe goes off. She gets that terror face, and then, you know, my man just kicks her into the water like, we've been here before. I ain't no stranger to dumping bodies in the water. He ain't had to go so hard though. He should have stayed in New York. You know, he ain't. But I mean, okay. Clearly though, he's in the same area and vicinity, and so when he shows up as Tandy and Tyrone are getting ready to go into the building,
right?
With the shotty though, because really he could have bust her with the shotty. He didn't, and that's on. So we at least knew that was a thing. But he shows up with the shotty, and then Tyrone's like, "Oh, okay. Let me show you what I can really do." They get a little, you know, and he takes my man to the roof like, my man Shredder fell off the top of the joint into fell off the joint. My man Casey Jones hit the whoops, That could be you, Con. Yeah, and just told him, and he straight up told him, like, man, are you afraid yet? And my man was like, yeah, I'm scared, bro. like, yeah, I'm scared. You know, and he went to try to shoot him anyway.
Let him go. Like, don't
what happened.
Let me catch you again. Don't let me catch you on these streets again.
Yeah, that was interesting and confusing. But then I heard somebody say, like, you know, he let fear literally consumed him. You know, so maybe that was a way to think of it. And I was like, all right, but where is he? You know. So
in the soul stone, sir. He's in the soul stone.
Yeah. Required.
That's right. It's gonna be real interesting. You know, I think that those moments at the end, as both Tandy and Tyrone start to become very selfless. Like, they are turning into heroes at the end of this episode, where it's like, nope, clearly I'm the one who has to do this. I'm the one that has to die. I also feel the need to protect you. They're both kind of in that mode. And they start to discuss, like, you know what? That's why I can move so fast. Clearly, it's me who's meant to go in here and do this. You know, and he tries and he fails.
Oh, so you even start seeing that take shape beforehand when she tells the mother, "I got to go help people. That's why I have to leave."
Right.
And even how, you know, he's calling people in the police precinct, like, "No, come after me, get him in the room, lock him in here with me." Like, you see stuff, you see all that building up to them becoming heroes.
Yeah.
That moment
he tells my man straight up, he's like, "Lafayette, lock the door. Like, just close me in here with them and you lock the door." You know what I mean, or whatever. So
yeah, it was good. It was good to see them grow from where they were in the first episode, because even in the last episode they went back to their old ways and, like, you know, jump right back into the hero state of things.
You know, in the last episode, they were very direct in having, you know, like, the narration of him explaining a hero and the downfall of a hero, and them having to have something tragic happen in order for them to be able to get back on track, and then actually become this hero, but not being able to be the same person that they actually were before. Right. It's very, very direct. And you get to see it in this. And so I you know, overall, I mean, I'm happy with this episode and the way that things went. I will say again, science stuff, right? So she shows up at the end, they're in there, and then he realizes, you know what, this is exactly the same thing that happened to us. We can do this again. I'm not sure exactly how Let's Hold Hands, Michael Jackson posed to the sky, you know, whatever, right? But whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it worked, I guess, for now. And as far as we know, the city is saved. And then the classic Marvel stay to the end,
of course,
after credit scene of O'Reilly finally emerging as Mayhem. And, you know, they talked about it and hinted at it, because they straight up said, you know, at San Diego when they announced season 2, like, season 2 will be Mayhem. So clearly she's going to be a main component of what's going on in the next season.
Right.
So I'm super interested in seeing how they develop her as a character now that she's going to have these abilities. I think it's dope. Are either of you familiar with Mayhem as a character?
No.
Not even a little bit.
So I did not until they actually said it when they announced season 2. I didn't put 2 and 2 together, because, again, I'm familiar with Cloak and Dagger, but I didn't really, like, I'm not super into it or whatever as far as the comics are concerned. And they never say her first name, at least not that I realized. They probably do at some point in the season. I just didn't realize it. But her character is Bridget O'Reilly, and I feel like they only ever call her O'Reilly. But in the comics, like, I mean, in the early comics, like, she is exactly that. She's a detective. Something happens to her. She ends up with these abilities, and basically she becomes kind of like a vigilante of her own. And she basically, her body, like, emits, like, if you look at the way they cut at the end when she crawls out of the water. So obviously he kicked her into the water. She crawls out of the water. And you can see like her eyes are kind of green or whatever. And the character is green, like in the comic books, like her skin is green, but she emits like a gas, and the gas paralyzes you, but also if it has to get into your bloodstream or something like that, but it paralyzes you, and it also forces you to tell her the truth. So it's kind of like her gas is like Wonder Woman's lasso of truth. But they have her poised more like she's a villain.
So she's Baba Yaga.
She's what?
She's Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga. Yeah. Baba Yaga. Yeah, so but here's the thing. She emits this gas. She can fly.
Okay.
And she has like these really long nails that she uses to scratch people or whatever, and that allows her to let the gas get directly into your bloodstream or whatever.
Okay.
But here's the other thing that's interesting. And I don't know if we probably shouldn't get into this right now. We are, for those of you watching, we are going to do a roundtable discussion about the season as a whole and what our expectations are for season 2 or whatever. But one of the things that Mayhem has the ability to do is the gas that surrounds her body absorbs daggers, light daggers. They can't hurt her. Like she throws them and they just make them basically disappear or whatever. So I'm wondering if we're going to see some fight scenes or whatever. Like, so I don't know if you guys are familiar with the actress Emma. Her name is like Emma Lanaha or something like that. I had to look at it again, but I know that she used to be like one of the Power Rangers. She was in like we could really use jokes right now. Yeah. But I know she was a Yellow Ranger. And I think she was in Dino Rangers or something like that. But clearly that means that she comes from a background of like action. You know what I mean? Like, she's done a lot of other acting or whatever. I'm just saying that like she was on a show that is based in like martial arts and action, whatever.
Yeah, she's got that action.
And what I do know about her as an actress is that she also is, or at least was, like a ballerina. So maybe she didn't have like martial arts training or something like that. Kind of like Zhang Ziyi, who, Crouching Tiger, it looks like she can do all the stuff, Michelle Yeoh can do. That's one of the best fight scenes of all time. But she's a ballerina. She's not actually a martial artist.
She's got that footwork. She's got that good.
And of course, Olivia Holt comes from the background of being on Kicking It on Disney. So she done some fighting and whatever. So it just made me think like, oh man, are they really getting ready to try to like, they got access to like the Black Panther, you know what I'm saying? Like fight trainers. Like we got the whole MCU fight coordinators and trainers at our hands, man. Next season could be a problem. But I do love that they have seeded things throughout, and they kind of all came to fruition in this episode. I think it was a pretty solid end to the season. And I like that it basically ended with them, on, I guess that's the Superdome.
Yep.
In New Orleans, right? So so it ends with them on the Superdome, laying kind of like they were on the beach, and then you get to see
I thought that was
that
really
they've like traded places, right? Yep. Like now she's going back home, and he had to run away and can't go home. And I love that moment of like the police being in his parents' house, and his mom kind of hears that little something upstairs, and she's like, I know it's him. She sneaks off to go, and check on him and sees that he took his clothes and that kind of stuff. Kind of lets her know that he's okay.
Speaking of that, one of my favorite moments is when he ran into his father, and his father was like, I don't know what I'm gonna say, but you need to go. Like, don't call.
I'm gonna try to hold him off.
Yeah, like just straight up. Like, I know you ain't doing. You don't have to explain nothing. Just go. Don't call.
Yeah, he just told him like,
like
we can't be in contact anymore.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Just like I get it, I understand, but you need to get out of here. I just like that. Just that one quick little moment, with him and Pops. Like, here, take your brother's joint and just go. Like, I got you. I get it.
It is the culmination of the fears that his mom had that conversation with him in that last episode of, we didn't do this for us or not say anything about
Right.
You may be being right or whatever. It's just that they would have taken you from us too, and we would have had no sons. And now it's kind of like this tragedy of they don't have their sons, but at least, you know, his mother now knows that he's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At least, right? Especially when you consider what it would have been or could have been if Connors had gotten what it was going to be. You know what I mean? We're going to drag out law. We're going to kill him, and that's going to be it. So, and his parents would have just had to read about it in the paper, right? That they'd have had the name and had a picture, and they'd have told this story that was false about him killing this police officer, killing another police officer. Right now, he's killed. His legacy ends with him having murdered 2 police officers, right? And them having to kill him in order to stop him or whatever. So, and they'd all be heroes. You know what I mean? They stopped this cop killer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the season ends with them seemingly in a good place, right? It's just, the music is great. The music in this show is fire, man. It's just so well done. And if you go to their Instagram, there are a couple of posts that they have that actually show what the songs are that they have in the show, and you can go and pull them from the playlist. And Olivia Holt, being a singer and an actress, you know, she has songs that play like during the show.
I agree with you for the music, but there was the final scene when they were actually holding hands. I don't think that was a good song selection. I mean, me personally,
I agree. I thought it was trash.
Why?
I don't know. It seemed like the song seemed like such a poppy up hope moment. That's how the song felt. But then in that moment, it was supposed to be like tense and, you know, what can possibly happen because they're holding hands. But it just seemed like a high energy Disney Channel song, and it just didn't fit that moment.
I disagree. I think it was just fine. Like, I think that specific song, that song is like a remake of another song that was redone. It was poppy and up tempo, but I think it was. I mean, you're talking about as they're fixing the problem, they're overcoming. For all we know, they are overcoming this legacy of one of them always having to die as the divine pairing, right? It is supposed to be a culmination of them figuring it out, beating it, saving the city, you know, ending this long tragic relationship of the divine pairing. It is all of those things. It is all of the goodness and greatness of all the things that they've worked towards, and that's playing out in that music, right? And that fear of them being able to touch each other, right? That we discussed it on this very show, right? Of them having that moment earlier in the season where he's down and out, she needs it, but she can't hold him, she can't hug him or whatever to help comfort him, you know, in his loss or whatever. And like, that's not a thing anymore, right? And even like a little thing like her saying, like, you know what, I'm gonna tell you something, I don't hate her, I don't hate the idea of you and her being together. Like, that's kind of cool. But we know, you know, as comic book progress, you know, there's whatever that eventually the two of them are at least supposed to hook up or something, right? But they can resist that, and maybe now it won't matter, right? They were so close to each other when they were laying on top of the Superdome that, like, maybe that's the thing that's over now, right? And so I actually think that worked in telling a story of that moment of triumph, because they had to triumph a lot in this negative/positive space. This, we are opposite sides of the same piece of a magnet, opposites attract and repel and so forth. And I don't know, I feel like it worked. I think it was okay. You know, something else, I guess, yeah, but I don't feel like, I wasn't watching it and being like, why y'all pick this song? Like, I certainly wasn't that. But
no, it didn't upset me. I just found it, you know, like kind of weird and awkward in the moment. Like, as I was listening to it, I was like, nah, I wouldn't have picked that one. But like, I mean, I was okay with the episode and with the moment itself.
Okay, I dig it. So as a whole, man, we're happy with the episode.
Yeah, I would say I'm happy with the episode, and that's what I was trying to explain before. That just because I thought it was rushed a little bit and things were moving fast, this didn't mean that it wasn't a good episode. There were great moments that happened, like the one with Sin said, well, him being able to talk to his father in that moment of, you gotta get out of here. I thought that was pretty dope as well. Them fighting together was cool. Seeing some things that will lead up to season 2, questionable things are also pretty dope, and great conversations to have. So yeah, overall, I enjoyed the episode, and yeah, I enjoyed the season.
What about you, Sam?
I did. I enjoyed the episode. I thought everything leading up to it, I thought it was a good finale for the season. It definitely has me looking forward to season 2, so we get some of those questions that we've talked about answered, and seeing what's going to happen with Mayhem going forward, knowing that that she's coming. Even though I don't know anything about Mayhem, but knowing that this police detective who reached out to Tyrone, they, saying got through whatever. They have a bond now, whatever. Now she's going to be the bad guy. Saying in the next one, like, saying it has me looking forward. It has me looking forward to next season. To see what
I'm
they
with
do
it.
With it.
Yeah. I think that the episode was not only a solid episode, but was a solid cap for the season. I think it did a pretty good job of answering the majority of questions and kind of giving you a little bit of woo-saw about, okay, they got some control of their powers. We understand kind of where things are and where they're going. So I agree with that. Anybody else wondering how Evita got in the church or knew that they were in the church? I'm just saying.
Just following them.
She just showed up. Like, let me tell y'all something.
Apparently, she knows more about Tyrone than he know about himself. So she knew.
She certainly has explored some things for sure.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. All right. So I feel like we can wrap this one up. We're happy with episode 10. Again, we will do a live roundtable discussion together. We'll get together on the couch where we film weekly, and we will discuss the season as a whole and where we think season 2 is going to go. So you all make sure you stay tuned for that. The best way to catch that is to make sure you hit that ding-a-ling bell and that you are subscribed to us. Make sure you're also following us on social media. So we are at Loading Snacks. That's just the easiest way to do it. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of those little things. I am Empty Shells, MTSHELLZ. We have Coops Concessions, and we have Sincere 619. So please make sure you're following us all, and feel free to drop comments below on how you felt about the episode, where you think things are going to go in the next season. And with that, I think we can shut it down, right, gentlemen?
Yep.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. So then, toodles and lose.